Almost every one of us hears the voice in the back of our heads telling us that we will never be good enough. It may even be speaking to you right now. It actually has a name, atychiphobia, or the obsessive fear of failure. INTJs aren't considered to be particularly fearful. In fact, they are accustomed to completing tasks and achieving their goals with wisdom and relative ease. The truth is that INTJs are just as susceptible to atychiphobia as anyone else, and their fear of failure is extra excruciating since they are acutely aware that this fear is completely irrational. INTJs are known for holding themselves to an extremely high standard. While normally self-assured, one misstep can cause them to doubt the entirety of their abilities. After all, INTJs pride themselves on the power of their minds and can become self-critical without proper cause. If this sounds like you or something you have experienced, today I'm going to examine 7 ways you can overcome your fear of failure as an INTJ. INTJs, above anyone else, have a natural ability to defeat this fear with ease, once you know how to identify it. Let's get into it. Welcome to Success for Breakfast, where I'm serving up brain food made simple. Starting things off for me today is INTJs should develop a routine. As a personality type very capable of organization, INTJs excel when provided a structure for living their day-to-day lives. The cognitive function of extroverted thinking in INTJs promotes this idea of creating plans and fulfilling them. It's important for them to think ahead and carve out their future to some degree. Routines serve this very logical purpose, while simultaneously making things more efficient. For INTJs, there certainly is nothing better than efficiency. So lean into your natural ability. INTJs appreciate a routine that serves a purpose and actually aids in the completion of tasks. As an INTJ, I'm sure you value a routine as a means of getting the most out of something, and you can create this structure on your own. Because INTJs are highly independent, you have the ability to flourish when you can design personalized routines. Successful people often have regular routines, which can help them feel more in control of their lives and less anxious about making mistakes. Instead of dwelling on your worries, try to focus on the routine aspects of the task at hand. Only then will you be one step closer to conquering your fear of failure. Next up is INTJs should learn from your failures. Rationally, you understand that failure has resulted in numerous successes. Walt Disney was terminated by a newspaper editor because he lacked vision and had no brilliant ideas. Would you describe him as a failure? Certainly not. Why? Because you understand rationally that failing at something a few times is not the same as being a failure. We save that term for people who have given up trying to succeed. Failure is bound to happen, and while INTJs are knowledgeable, they're not necessarily infallible. Learning from these mistakes, however, provides a gateway to success. You see, one of the reasons that INTJs are afraid of failing is because they want to do everything perfectly. By learning from and examining where you went wrong with past mistakes, you can make it easier to accept that you aren't going to be perfect at everything. No one is. A sense of security will be restored to you knowing that you are better set to actively attack any challenges that come your way. Although other personality types like ISFPs and ESFPs prefer living on the edge, INTJs feel safe when they have a certain degree of control over their fate. The future is all yours. Do you actually know your personality type? If you're unsure of what your true personality type is, or just want confirmation if you do, take this absolutely free personality test by checking out the link in the description of this video. It's the most comprehensive, detailed, and complete test I've seen. Starting off my top 5 is INTJs should develop a growth mindset. The dominant introverted intuition cognitive function of INTJs can be excited by change. However, because of their rational and informed decision-making process, INTJs must first develop a strategy and predict its implications and likely effects. Without confidence in whatever change they're hoping to make, many times they will simply give up and encounter failure as a consequence. To grow as an individual, an INTJ must focus on using their judgment only after first engaging their intuition. In other words, an INTJ must make a conscious effort to not reject ideas prematurely. They should actually apply their rational thinking to their own ideas. You cannot successfully evaluate something you don't understand. This isn't to imply that INTJs must alter their nature, especially because their thoughtfulness can serve them well. Rather, it's to say that any type, including INTJs, should let go of their resistance to change. The inability to grow can not only be unhealthy, but also actively welcomes failures into one's life. No one is perfect at anything when they begin, including you. Putting aside your perfectionist mindset and being open to change can benefit you in ways you have never imagined. Next up, and number 4, is INTJs should get to know themselves better. INTJs spend a lot of time with themselves, and yet they often seem to be more caught up in ideas than their actual selves. When was the last time you sat there and tried to understand your motives, your dreams, and of course, your fears? By getting to know yourself, an INTJ is better equipped to handle future scenarios. Ask yourself, where did my need to be successful come from? Or am I judging myself in an objective manner? In asking yourself these kinds of questions, your fear of failure can be dissected in an analytical way, which happens to be a strength of INTJs. The fear of failure, however, is a challenge that many successful people have had to overcome. Whether it's Arnold Schwarzenegger's battle against body dysmorphia, Elon Musk's struggles with autism, or Michelle Obama's deep-set worries about unworthiness, INTJs don't ever back down from challenges. In fact, many see them as a test. It's incredibly important to remember that failure is a part of life, and you will soon come to learn that you're only human. If you've gotten some value from this video so far, please show your appreciation by hitting that like button. That signals to YouTube that you think other people could benefit from this video too. Kicking off my top 3 today is INTJs should take pride in failure. There is a distinction to be made between evaluating your behavior critically, but objectively, and being harsh on yourself. We all need to be self-corrective, and we can't progress if we're afraid to criticize what we do or have done. However, this can be accomplished with self-compassion. Nobody is flawless. However, perfection is frequently used by people who are too tough on themselves to analyze their lives and activities. Now, I'm not encouraging you to be proud of failing a test or getting fired from your job. However, I am encouraging you to take pride in your ability to make mistakes and move past them. The past is, by the very laws of physics, unalterable. Sometimes, as an INTJ, you may criticize yourself too harshly, or based on a criteria that doesn't take into account the complexity of human nature. But in realizing your failures and releasing their hold on you in the past, you're one step closer to success. This can be a great way to reduce the shame that some INTJs feel when they make mistakes, and it can help you to move past your fear of failure. Allow yourself to let go, take pride, and move on. In the runner-up spot is INTJs need to take care of themselves physically and mentally. For the INTJ, self-care is spending enough time alone to digest and synthesize information. INTJs that rely largely on their secondary function, extroverted thinking, may become caught up in action mode, so focused on getting things done that they neglect to allow their minds to wander, experiment with ideas, and access their intuition. If you aren't taking care of yourself physically and mentally, you won't be able to push yourself to succeed. As an INTJ, your inner world is private and complex. Without stepping away from it every once in a while, you may fall victim to physical and emotional exhaustion. Therefore, time for reflection, rejuvenation, and connection with loved ones is essential for INTJs to maintain their equilibrium. Always caught up in analyzing, experimenting, and learning, INTJs frequently neglect self-care. Taking great care of your body will strengthen your mind, and vice versa. Together, these two will play a role in how you fare in this chess game of life. Taking care of yourself means surrounding yourself with positive people from time to time, exercising and eating healthy, and just taking time to relax. What are your thoughts on these ways you can conquer your fear of failure as an INTJ? Be sure to leave a comment and tell me your thoughts and experiences. Topping my list in the number 1 way INTJs can conquer their fear of failure is to set smaller, more achievable goals. I can't stress this enough. Try to set achievable goals for yourself. You may feel less overwhelmed and more like you are making headway if you do this. INTJs have a strong desire to achieve and continue to achieve. They are compelled, like all rationals, to prove to themselves and others that they are competent and that their competence is not a one-time occurrence, but something they display day to day. When their self-esteem begins to deteriorate, it's usually due to a break in the chain of accomplishments. INTJs expect a lot from themselves, and if they cannot achieve something, a great deal of self-hatred and insecurity may arise. Setting smaller goals for yourself, however, means more frequent, more achievable successes that don't completely tear you apart. Instead of reaching straight for 100, take steps from 10 to 20, then from 20 to 30, and so on. It's normal to feel helpless when confronted with the big picture, but if you divide your goals into manageable chunks and keep your attention on the here and now, you'll find that staying motivated and overcoming your fear of failure becomes much less of a challenge. You don't have to let the fear of failure prevent you from achieving your goals and realizing your full potential. To put it simply, INTJs are capable, intelligent people who can accomplish amazing things. You can overcome your fear and accomplish all you've ever imagined if you are willing to take on new challenges and stretch yourself. The fear of failure isn't the only thing that will keep an INTJ up at night. They have other, very real and very specific fears that cause them to lose sleep. This video goes in depth into some of the other, more aggressive fears that are unique to an INTJ and what you can do to overcome them.